SA for sexual assault.
Joe Rogan experience.
We can argue what the government should or should not do, but I don't think we can allow a handful of people with incredible wealth to control both parties.
Well, it's dangerous.
It is.
It's very dangerous. And I mean, no one the founding fathers of this country never saw that coming.
That's
right.
You know,
they made this incredible system of checks and balances.
You got it.
But who could have ever possibly saw that coming?
And what I worry about Trump is
Daniel said you skipped one of his super chats.
Oh, let me see here. Oh, shoot, I see right here. He said, shout out my man Castro. He says, Bernie got cooked. Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. He's like, Bernie just damn near got cooked the whole way through, and it was bringing up the facts, especially on the climate change BS.
You're right. I read, it is astounding back in the 1780s when these guys wrote the Constitution, how perceptive they were.
Amazing.
Yeah. I mean, their
understanding of human desires and the power and all the corruption.
Exactly.
Pretty amazing.
And they wrote that having just fought a war and won a war against the most powerful despot on earth, the King of England, right?
Right.
And I think in the back of their minds was saying, all right, we just beat the King of England, absolute power. How do you create a new country which has checks and balance so that nobody ever has that power
right
again? And I got to say, I mean, one of the things, and there was a lot of arguments about Trump, that worries me very, very much is this movement toward authoritarianism and going after media, suing media, taking away the authority that Congress has.
When you say suing media, are you talking?
Let him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook.
Talking about the CBS lawsuit,
among other things.
Right, but don't you think there's a real issue with what they did?
No.
You don't think that there's a real issue in editing conversations to give someone an answer that's different than what they really answered?
Joe, I've been on 8 zillion shows, right?
Right.
In my life.
Bernie.
Okay. Now, should I sue you if you ask me some stupid question that I don't like, right? Or that you do something? Should I sue you?
Yeah, but that's not what he's getting.
Well, he is sued.
Yeah, that's not what he sued about. He sued because ABC called him a rapist, and that was absolutely defamation.
Yep.
There it is.
He has sued ABC.
Mm-hmm.
He has sued Meta. He is suing the Des Moines Register because of a poll that came out during the campaign that he didn't like. All right. He is suing CBS for this Kamala Harris interview. So do I think I cannot tell you the number of stories done about me that were not good stories,
right?
That were dishonest stories. That's what a free press is about. You don't like it, you got to live with it. All right. You do something, I'm not going to sue you, Joe.
Right,
but he was jumping up and down when Fox got sued.
Exactly. Here's the thing, though, but Bernie, if you call somebody a rapist, that can mess with their reputation. That's under defamation. I'm pretty sure whatever story somebody wrote against you didn't go against your reputation, to be quite honest. If somebody was in a story calling Bernie a pedo or an SA or a rapist, he would sue them. Mm-hmm. We all know there's that fine line, and I'm pretty sure he knows that.
But it's not that simple, right? Like, let's not talk about Trump, but let's talk about another candidate. Let's just imagine there's someone on the right and someone on the left, and there's a concerted effort to promote this person that's on the right. And so the polls are rigged, or these are funded polls that make it look like this person on the right is winning by a substantial margin. And what this does is decreases the motivation that people have to come out and vote against them.
That's happening.
So it's fake.
By the way, that happens right now.
It is happening right now. And I think, is that part of what he's suing them about?
No, but doesn't. Look,
but isn't that what he's suing them
about? It doesn't matter because it's Trump.
He's suing ABC for one thing.
But with the Des Moines Register about the poll.
Yeah, I know the polls were there.
Was the poll incorrect?
Yeah, the poll was wrong. So what?
Right.
Guess what?
But what did they know it was incorrect when they published it?
No, they published what they thought was an accurate poll. But that pollster, by the way, what's the name? Censorship polls.
I should just state for the record, I don't know this lawsuit. But
what it was about.
But I am aware that in talking to people that understand polls, that some of these are politically.
All right, but the answer is yes and no. there are polls right now doing exactly what you say.
Right.
I could doctor a poll. I could talk to more conservative, more progressive people, get the results that I kind of want, right?
And they do it to motivate people or demotivate people to vote, and
that's
it's
right.
effective.
It has an impact. All right. On the other hand, this particular poster, it's the Des Moines Register, not a huge newspaper. I bumped into them because when you're running Democratic primaries, Iowa is a big deal. They are a very, very respected pollster. Okay, they don't doctor polls, so they made a mistake on a poll. It turns out they had
Which
Trump
means they're
doing.
listened to, which means that when they lie about things, it's even more effective to suppress people because they have credibility.
Yeah, and it's a swing state, right?
Yeah, but you know, some
Absolutely.
people wouldn't want to throw away that credibility because once you throw it away, you can't get it back on when it comes to pollsters.
Hey, Set.
Yeah.
People don't want to throw away their credibility. What is MSNBC? What is CNN? What
I
is,
mean,
on the right? What is
It's-
Fox?
They
Trump
sold it.
derangement
They sold it. They didn't
on
throw
Trump
it away.
derangement. I think the polls have a little bit more biasness to them. Now you're right. There are polls that lean a certain way. You know, like polls done by news publications like ABC and all that good stuff. But the actual posters, I seen them actually give out pretty unbiased like results.
You know what's scary though is it's all commonplace now. Every Republican is going to get the same Trump treatment. It's commonplace. We got used to it.
But how are they gonna spin that on?
They're boiling us. We're frogs in the pot, man.
But how are they gonna get that spin off on like JD or Vivek?
They're
Or
just
how are they
gonna
gonna have
do it.
that same spin?
The same thing.
Because the people that have the voice in the Democratic Party are radical and extreme. They are like I'm not saying the Democratic Party itself is radical and extreme. I'm saying the people that have the voice right now, that have the megaphone, are radical and extreme, and that is what they will push.
They wouldn't say half the stuff they said if mainstream media didn't back their lies.
But here's the thing, though. This is why I say how they're gonna do that to somebody like JD or Vivek. Like, let's be real. Donald Trump was no saint back in the day. My man was out there doing the wild stuff.
The mafia had nothing on him. They sent someone in. They sent someone in to try to get dirt on him.
But let's be real though. Back in the day, that man Trump was a whole playboy. So we're talking about how are they gonna have that same spin on JD Vance and Vivek? Like, you know, these are like our two top candidates.
Hey, Set. They'll do what they did with the Russiagate. They'll create it.
Nah, I mean they just run on couch fucker.
I don't know, man. Hey, the couch fucker. I don't know. I feel like I think it's just done with Trump. Like they're gonna have to like really dig, like say something horrendous, or damn near make something up on the lines of defamation because Trump just seems like a special case.
They've already proven they're not below that.
He has that image, but what if they said so far that's so bad about JD Vance that would kind of create that fear mongering? If anything, JD Vance stuff to laugh at him.
Just wait. JD Vance hasn't threatened the establishment yet.
Yeah, I mean it's Monty's right. They don't play their cards until they have to, and you know it's just smart that way. But the only good thing that came out of this, what Trump revealed, is how biased they actually are. They've lost all credibility. You know, TDS is on full display. They've lost credibility. So that's the only win.
I mean, look, you had for all intents and purposes, we just avoided a major international conflict. Because remember, let's give credibility to all the people that said Pakistan was going to sell nukes and Russia was going to get involved and China was going to get involved and Israel was going to fucking go to war and Iran, we were just going to have World War III. We just avoided that, and they're still going after him.
Point.
Worse than he ended up doing. Guess what? Posters, honest posters, make mistakes too.
But what is the basis of his lawsuit? Like, what is he saying?
I think he is saying that gave energy to his opponents, and that it was. He's
like
saying,
we talked about,
like you talked about, but I don't believe that's the case. There are honest posters who make mistakes.
But what about the other the other lawsuit with the conversation that they had with Kamala Harris, where they edited the answers that she had to make it look more precise?
60 Minutes, they were suing 60 Minutes.
Yes.
Is, to my mind, historically, been around for a very long time, they're not infallible. But I think you look at most objective people will say 60 Minutes has a sterling reputation for investigative journalism. Are they
Oh my
wrong?
But that's
gosh.
not
I
investigative.
would say this: what 60 Minute did was like damn near a watered down version of the Hunter Biden laptop. It's like I hid the fact that this lady's a terrible speaker and that she speaks in circles and she doesn't make sense. Like
Yeah.
it's
Right.
pretty much what they hid.
Yeah, they're oh my goodness. So when you have a slant as a media organization and claim to be fair and balanced and claim to have the sterling reputation, that's the goalpost, right? That's what you have to live up to. When you do shady shit and someone calls you out on it, because they have that sterling reputation, and you were talking about reputation earlier, and they don't want to lose that, right? They
Yeah.
thought they were going to get away with it. They weren't discovered until Trump was like, I'm gonna sue the shit out of you, and that got found out. So
And there
where
was a
do you
leaker. Someone from within
yeah.
showed the actual unedited version.
That's true. Yeah, and that's how we all found out that it
Yeah,
even
without
happened.
that, they would have
and
gotten.
and and set just go like the first before Trump's candidacy even took off, the Democratic National Convention, funded by Hillary Clinton, was literally used the FISA courts that we use on terrorists to spy on his campaign, and then turned around and said that he was doing exactly the same thing by colluding with Russia. Russia
Yep.
collusion, Russia collusion, Russia collusion for his entire presidency. And then when some objective fucking investigation happens, oh no, they were actually the ones doing that.
That's it. I mean,
They
you're
like
not wrong.
that's what I'm saying. They don't have to dig up dirt on Trump. They can just manufacture it.
Well, and to be fair, it's not even manufacturing. They're just gaslighting. They're saying what they've done and blaming it on the other side. Hillary totally took money from Ukraine. There was some
Yep.
guy that did an undercover thing with the FBI, and they told him never to mention it because the FBI ended up switching their positions. And instead of trying to get dirt on Hillary, they were just going to use her to do what they wanted. And I think was it John Brennan or one of those guys that was like head of the FBI at the time, or CIA, some bad guy. And so they were, the FBI agents were, they couldn't, there's nothing they could do, you know.
Oh, and Hunter Biden's laptop is Russia disinformation.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was also another
Remember?
lie.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well,
lies on top
patently.
of lies. I will give you all that
So
one. But
So there's a difference. There's a difference between making a mistake in journalism because your news cycle is so fast, and having a conspiracy to suppress information that would make you look bad. Meanwhile, create information that makes the other person look bad. That is tampering with elections. That
yep,
is
election
cheating in an
interference.
election. Yes.
Good point.
Investigative journalism. If you change someone's
And shout out
answers,
Monty.
if you ask her a question and she comes with a rambling answer that doesn't make sense, and you edit that out and insert another answer to a different question that seems more cogent.
Joe, you're walking down. It's you're walking down a dangerous path. Suing media has the impact of intimidating media. All right, if somebody sues you, all right, let me finish. All right,
Joe Rogan.
somebody
so
sues
onto
you.
this guy.
Why not you? You could
Right.
you could be sued tomorrow, right? Because you are doing this. You're too sympathetic to this.
Right.
And Joe, you did that, and they have a big law firm behind you. You're going to have to spend zillions of dollars defending yourself. You know what? Next time you do an interview, you say, maybe I'm not going to go in that area. Right?
No, but it's not that. It's editing things to make this deceptive editing.
Joe,
So in deceptive editing,
I don't
you
know.
give people a different perception of who this candidate is than reality.
All right, but you got to.
Yeah, like when they're operating unfairly, it's like, let's be real. They got to get called out for that. When they're like making claims that's honestly defamating or trying to attack somebody's character or ruin their character in the public, they should be hit for that. So you can't just say, oh, well, we shouldn't sue media companies. You're pretty much saying that the media companies can pretty much get away with slander, and it's because they're media companies, they can do it. He's only saying that because they're not doing it to him.
He didn't say the same thing about Alex Jones. He didn't say the same thing about Fox News when Fox News was being sued. So
Exactly.
is it only left leaning news agencies that are quote unquote credible in your world? If they agree with you, they're credible. If they disagree with you, then they're not credible,
It seems like if they agree
and
with
they don't
him,
deserve that protection.
man, no, it's pretty much seems like well, if they agree with him, then they can do defamation. If they don't, they can't.
And to be honest, it sounds like they're just doubling down and then doubling down again and doubling down again and never admitting their bias. If they never admit it, they can always double down on it.
All right, and
It's
shout out
like
to my bad, but shout out to my man Castro. They said they can't hurt Republicans. Well, they can. My bad. They can hurt Republicans by covering and holding stories.
Yep, and it's
Right.
designed that way.
All right, let's get back to my man Rogan.
But that's not objective
I
journalism.
know, but
That's campaigning for that
all right,
person.
but
Would you agree with that?
I don't have those details. I don't know that I agree with your
But you're
analysis
gonna
of it. I don't.
you don't
know
have
enough
the
about it.
details, but you're
that's
going to come out
universally
against it.
accepted that
Well,
that's what they did.
Then you got to tell me why he is suing ABC. Why he's
he
suing
just can't
Meta.
let's
admit
just
it.
talk about the 60 Minutes
No,
one
but
first.
no, but it's not
We
just
could
60.
go to ABC, but I'm not aware of that
Well,
one
as
either.
George Stephanopoulos said something that he didn't like. But the point is,
What did Stephanopoulos say?
I can't remember. It was I honestly don't remember. But
You don't
Well,
know,
I
and you're
think
just
what he was
blindly.
saying was factually incorrect about the results of one of Trump's trials.
all right, guess what? If I were to sue everybody who said things that were factually incorrect about me, I'd be suing people zillions of.
Yes, but Bernie, did they call you a grapist? That's the problem. It didn't go along the line of defamation, so you didn't do anything.
And the opposition,
It did not hurt his reputation at all.
and the opposition can actually get his documents and stuff, which he doesn't want anyway. He doesn't want what is it called, discovery, where the other side gets to go through your personal stuff to prove their case. None of these Democrats want anything coming up in discovery because they are. It is a big conspiracy to have one-sided justice.
Here's the if you don't think Trump's reputation has been hurt, and you think Bernie's been attacked and all this fun stuff, the only thing people accuse Bernie of is things that he stands behind. People accuse Trump of rape, of being a Nazi, of being a Russian agent, of all of the things that he is suing them for that are patently untrue.
True.
Yeah, basically calling him like, yeah, you're right. Basically calling him a treason, basically calling him a traitor is a bit wild. What's the ultimate punishment for being a traitor?
During the time of war, death.
Exactly. So I mean, I think it still goes even for espionage work. You can still get death for that.
So not during a time of war.
Gotcha.
Unless you directly get people killed for it.
Okay, that makes sense.
The times, but Joe, what you're saying is, look, does media get it wrong sometimes? Absolutely. Should you have the most powerful person in America suing media? What is the impact of that? The impact is clearly intimidation. He wants to defund public broadcasting
or accountability.
NPR. Why is that?
Exactly.
Well, because they also would run critical stories
consequences.
Of them. This is part, in my view, without getting into any one case, it's part of a pattern that says, hey, I got the power. Don't you criticize me. You criticize me, I'm going to sue you. So it's not whether this show was right or wrong. There are shows every day they get it wrong. It's whether you respect you and other media people to do.
I'm gonna be real with you. It's like I don't think he's understanding what defamation is. It's like, all right, you're pretty much saying that a news company could come out right now and say, "Yo, Set's a whole criminal. He has a felony. He done kicked 3 bodies out here," and that's all complete lies. And now when people see me, they're gonna think I'm a killer. Now I gotta sue you guys to clear my name.
And to be honest,
here's the thing, Set. You have to understand Bernie Sanders' position. Bernie Sanders believes in socialism, in the basic, principles of socialism is that nobody owns anything. You don't own your image. You don't own anything. So Trump has no right to be upset that his image has been tarnished. That's what he's saying.
It's wild. It's
There's
wild.
no personal property.
I'm saying the
He doesn't.
criticism about, oh my bad, but you're right though. The criticisms about Bernie is what he actually believes in. When we call him a socialist, Marxist, a bit of an extremist, like, I mean, yeah, but you can't sue nobody over that. That's just an assessment of your ideology, and nobody's gonna attack you over that.
There's nothing running day in and day out about Bernie Sanders that's not true.
In facts.
Do the best that you can. And if I don't like what you're doing, I'll go someplace else. But I don't like presidents suing media, and then it's, threatening to impeach judges who rule against you. Really? Is that a concern? I think it's a concern.
I agree. That's a concern. Well, my concern is when you have media organizations that are purported to be objective, and then they say things that are defamatory and factually incorrect, and they should know that before they say it. What other course does a person have other than a lawsuit? And isn't it important that you shine the light on what is a political bias?
Then the way
we're from an organization that you would hope would be objective.
Needless to say, I get attacked all the time by right-wing media, right? Every day.
Needless to say.
Needless to say. All right.
You don't get defamed, though.
So you
get attacked.
But he's the president of the United
but
States.
Do they say things factually incorrect,
then
that
he
are
can get up there.
defamatory and slanderous?
If there's anybody in the world who knows how to use a microphone, his name is Donald Trump. And Donald Trump get up. You saw that program on CBS the other day? It was crap. It was wrong. And let me tell you why it was wrong.
But then they do it again and again and again.
Then you take them on.
The problem is the more people do stuff like that, if you don't have any consequences to what you're doing, you're going to continue that path. And the most people only see that. They're not like, if you're a left-wing leaning media organization and you print something that's factually incorrect, or you say something on television that's factually incorrect, your viewers who are left-leaning are most likely not going to see Trump's rebuttal in some speech that he does in the middle of Pennsylvania.
Right, but that's another problem, and that is, our media is becoming very divided.
Exactly.
Okay. But all I would say is,
so you don't think that lawsuits against that are valid?
I don't think that it is appropriate for the president of the United States to be, in my view, intimidating media. Again, I get attacked. I'll be attacked tomorrow for probably things I've said on the show. I'll get attacked. Then if I want to respond, I respond.
But you said them, not
president's blood.
Jesus Christ.
Didn't independent media get attacked and sued because of the whole COVID thing? Because of the vaccine thing? Weren't they like literally doing what this guy's saying shouldn't happen? And that was Biden.
I mean,
the guy that he supports.
It does seem like when the libs do it, Bernie's wearing a complete blindfold, but when the right do it, he's wearing binoculars. So
that's
you see what's going on.
And what's wild to me is when someone on the right, now I'm not saying this is all the time, but when someone on the right comes after something like that, like COVID, for example, they tend to be right. Like, they tend to be correct about it. And they get defamed, they get called a kook, they get blasted like a heretic, and 6 months later they're right. That doesn't mean that they didn't get sued. That doesn't mean that they didn't get attacked or defamed, but they're not allowed to have their opinions because their opinions are dangerous. And we should intimidate them because that's what's best for everybody. It's safe to not question a vaccine that has, risks of blood clots and strokes and heart attacks in women.
Allegedly.
Well, it wasn't.
Hold on, but before I got to clear some things up. Here at S.E.T Media, we abide by the rules of medical misinformation. The vaccine works completely. There's nothing ever been wrong with it, according to the CDC, which we abide by. All right, you guys can continue.
See right there. Look at that. Hold on. Just I know why you did that, just by virtue of you doing that, you're not even allowed to question it without you're literally proving my point for me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. You're
Like,
definitely right on that one.
and
Yeah.
so you're not even allowed to question it. Doctors have questioned it. I work in medicine. I have seen instances of this as a practitioner. But if I had a platform like you have right now, I would get kicked off of it if I said something about it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, trust me, you get kicked off for saying a certain vaccine exists, and they'll kick you. They'll take down your video for that. But yeah, any doubts of the vaccine and what it does and the benefit and the also wonderful benefits that it has can get struck down.
But that's media intimidation. That is exactly
Yes,
what
it
Bernie is
is.
saying. He doesn't want to happen, but you can get deplatformed for having that question.
So
And
we won't keep
yeah,
hammering this one.
yeah. Let me not hammer
Just
that specific thing.
Yeah,
we like you said.
I appreciate that.
We don't want
I
your
will do.
only
So
source
you
of
see that thing on Fox?
platform to
You're
be
wrong.
Rumble.
I know it's gonna be tough, man. That'd be a tough grind.
And I've done it. But when Joe, you got to take it another way. I'll give you an example about CBS. We talked about corporate power. The owners of CBS is owned by Paramount, big multimedia corporation, right?
Sure.
Paramount wants to sell, wants to be sold to, what is it, Blue Sky? Does that ring a bell?
Blue Sky's that social media app.
No, and it's another one. I'm sorry. It's, I always forget the name of it. Skydance. Thanks.
Blue Sky is like liberal X. Like it's literally nothing but libs on there.
Is he talking about
Skydance
Sundance?
is a large.
Nah, a Blue Sky.
No. He's trying to talk about a media company.
Yeah,
I think it's Sundance.
He called it Skydance.
All right, let's
Blue Sky's that social media app.
No, and it's another one. I'm sorry. It's I always forget the name of it. Skydance. Thanks. Skydance is a large media corporation that Paramount wants to have buy.
Okay.
To get this merger, huge merger, they have to go, guess what? To the federal government. All right. So you are the head of CBS. You want to sell the company to Skydance for many, many billions. Do you remember how much? What was the sale?
Oh.
It's billions of dollars, to be sure. And you got to go to the federal government, and the president sues you. What do you think you're going to do? You're going to settle the lawsuit, give him millions of dollars, and get your merger approved. All right. So look, I
see a problem in that.
All right, and
sure.
I see where you're coming from. We
God
want
damn it.
honesty in media, but all I can tell you is that the way to respond to the lies, which take place every day, is to take them on, not to intimidate media. You know, we talked about the Constitution. What's the First Amendment? Is freedom of speech, right?
Right.
You're right. You're
Yes.
sitting here. You disagree with me. God bless you. Say what the hell you want to say. All right. I'll never take that away from you.
Right.
And I'm not going to threaten you with a lawsuit. But if you start suing me, hey, Joe Rogan said this. No. Joe Rogan has this. We found out about Joe Rogan. I'm going to sue Joe Rogan for $100 million. Joe may not talk about those issues in the future. Okay? That's what I'm saying, Joe.
I agree with you. And listen, I'm not a fan of lawsuits either, which is why I never sued CNN.
I've never done.
CNN lied about me over and over and over again.
They turned the man's face green and then said, "Oh yeah, oh you see what happened when you go against the jab guys? That's what happens. You end up like Joe Rogan," and everybody believed it.
Bernie
said he was spreading misinformation about the jab.
Yep, and ivermectin.
They said I was taking horse dewormer, and they altered the color of my face on television to make me look green.
I could testify, yay, green.
I didn't sue them. I'm not a fan of them. And my response to them was just speak out and say how ridiculous
That's
it was
what I'm
what they were
saying.
doing.
Look, Joe, anybody in the public eye, you're in the public eye, I'm in the public eye. You're going to get attacked every day, right?
Yes.
All right. That's what you're in the public eye. You don't want to be in the public eye, put down the microphone.
Agreed.
Play pool. Whatever.
No, I agree with
But
you.
Joe Rogan, hold on, Seth. I need to make a clear distinction here. Joe Rogan and Bernie Sanders are not currently running for president or are the president right now. That's the huge thing. You have to you have to maintain factual accuracy as much as you can. It is your responsibility as a journalist to maintain factual accuracy. That doesn't mean you can't get anything wrong, but when you're talking about stakes of elections and the will of the people, you're absolutely supposed to be held to a higher standard than, oh, they said something I don't like.
And Alex Jones got sued for how many billions?
One.
So, was it 1 billion?
I thought it was 1 billion, but let's be real. Alex Jones is only worth like $250 million altogether, and that's why they like charged him up like that.
Yeah,
like they like asked him for 3 times his net worth. You know, Alex Jones really a pretty wealthy guy, but I mean, they would charge him to the point where he almost had to give up InfoWars.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I believe it was about $1 billion though.
But I also agree that CBS shouldn't be altering a presidential candidate's interview.
I agree too. I mean, I don't know enough about it, so I'm not going to say what isn't. Okay. All I know is that 60 Minutes is a well-respected program. Do they make mistakes?
But that's not a mistake.
All right, I don't know enough about it, so I can't.
I understand.
All right, what else you got for me? I should get a plane and get out of here.
Blindfold versus binoculars.
You probably should. I mean, I appreciate your positions on all these different things.
And I appreciate, by the way, one of the, we talked about media and the bifurcation of.
Yeah, Alex Jones was sued for a total of nearly $1.5 billion in 2 defamation lawsuits in connection to Connecticut and Texas by Sandy Hook families. God damn.
Media.
Yeah, didn't he try to say that like Sandy Hook was staged and they were all actors?
Yeah. And then he came out with an apology video pretty much saying that, oh, yeah, that was wrong. I was fed misinformation, which they didn't show in his trial or anything like that. But they kind of bent him over the rails on that one.
And they didn't sue the sources that he got it from. They only sued him.
Yeah.
Wait. I thought so. As a media outlet, if you go back on what you said, like you said, he created a apology video. If you go back on what you said and say, well, this wasn't true, I've been told that this is not true, and you set the record straight, I thought that's no longer defamation. That makes it a moot point.
Exactly, but they didn't let him show that video. Like, it's an old video too of him literally making the apology. Like, you could tell he didn't just make this out of nowhere. It's like the old Alex Jones.
It was
made
before
the
lawsuit, and
the lawsuit with BS,
and the CIA and the parts of the government that he talks about, criticizes, and discusses, they're the ones that wanted it to happen. So.
Yeah, because they were trying to turn Alex Jones into an asset. Yeah, I heard that theory.
Yeah, and so like they wanted him either silenced or to put so much pressure on him that he would flip sides. Yeah.
Hey man, shout out Castro. He said they won't accept his settlement. They want his voice.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That Alex Jones built a crazy empire. Like when during the lawsuit, I had to look up his net worth. I'm like, whoa, they're suing him for $1 billion. I'm like, how much is this man worth? And then when I seen 250 million, first off, I was like, damn, I wouldn't have guessed that. But still, though, to sue this man for 3-4 times his net worth is crazy. That doesn't make sense.
That would be considered not a frivolous lawsuit, but when you sue somebody for more than what they're worth, that's predatory.
Yeah,
and it's not supposed to be allowed.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, yo, okay, if he's worth 250 million and I could see you guys taking 50 mil, 100 mil maybe, but 1.5 billion is crazy.
And it seemed very coordinated because there were tons of media groups coming out with the similar...
And I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off, but I need to say this before I forget it. Alex Jones did not do $1.5 billion worth of damages to people that, like, that is not worth 1.5. They did not lose $1.5 billion because Alex Jones said something that wasn't true.
Yeah, they charged him more than the shooter. The shooter's family got sued for less than he did.
Exactly.
What?
Yeah, it says this in Connecticut, a jury awarded $965 million in compensatory damages to 13 families and FBI agents. And FBI, bro, paid for the FBI too.
Yeah, bullshit. Like all right. So you know how damages work, right? Like you have to have lost something. Like let's just say I say something about you that gets you taken off of YouTube and it's not true. And right now in your current capacity, you can make $5,000 a month off of YouTube. And let's just assume that your career is going to go on and grow and whatever. And they take that, how much damage I did to you is based off of what you could be worth if I didn't do that damage.
Right.
So you're not worth, if you sue me for $500 million, I'm sorry, Set, you have 1,000 people watching your stream, not 100 million.
Is
Right?
Exactly. That would be wild.
Yeah.
And then I'll be like, damn near the biggest channel in the world at that point. You've got 100 million people watching you, and somehow
Yeah.
your channel gets taken down. Oh yeah, that's like Mr. Beast levels type of stuff.
Yeah, if I take Mr. Beast down, Mr. Beast, I've taken more from Mr. Beast than I would have taken from you if I lie on both of you and my lie is successful in taking both of you down. So Mr. Beast would have more damages to pursue me for. That's what I'm saying. Like a family in Connecticut that was fucking changing tires for a living did not fucking like they don't rise to the level of $250 million, or let's say it was 900 million was the settlement, and it was like 13 families. That's hundreds of millions of dollars, or well, no, double
Man.
digits. It's 7-8 digits. They weren't worth that. They did not get that much taken from them.
Right.
Man.
Right.
Oh yeah, and
Alex
the judge
Jones didn't go
later,
shoot him.
Oh yeah, and the judge later added an additional 473 million in punitive damages, bringing the total in Connecticut case to nearly 1.4 billion.
So punitive damages are a little bit different. Punitive damages are we don't like you, you're bad. This is a punishment for it, right? So damages,
Wow.
yeah, damages
fine,
are
basically.
what they took you for. Punitive damages is we're going to teach you a lesson now.
Ouch.
So yeah, so I mean, punitive damages are subjective to the judge and the jury.
Oh, wow.
But that's what I'm saying. The 13 families and FBI agents did not lose $900 million worth of anything. It's wild.
Man, but all right, guys, we'll have to go ahead and close it down on this note, man. It's been great having you on, my man Monty and Luke, man. Shout out to you guys.
Appreciate you both.
Later.
All right, man. Later, guys. We're going to go ahead and close it out on this one, guys. Make sure you double tap that screen. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. This is Set with Set Media, and I will see you guys tomorrow. All right, guys. Y'all be safe out there. Have a good morning, and peace. Guys, today modern AI is quite advanced, except two problems. It is censored, and it takes your information. Well, it's hard to find a tech company that don't. But let me introduce you to one. Shout out to my sponsor, Venice AI, which allows you to protect your information and avoid censorship. Now ask yourself, why should a team of programmers at these leading AI apps be the ones to decide what is okay for you to ask and think? Also, would you be comfortable if the presidential administration could govern what AI tells you? Man, I know I wouldn't.